Could it be there are other dates out there that are established and published, and everybody's working off of them, that also have the same problem, that they haven't discovered yet?
Yeah, Martin was telling me about today, actually, the across where there's a suspicious thing going on because he doubts the date is correct because it's responsible there that's slightly suspicious. It happens. This happens. Nobody's denying this is a problem.
Okay. Would you entertain the thought that possibly all of the dates giving millions of years are suspicious and should be taken with a grain of salt, and maybe are totally wrong, and maybe they're not billions of years old?
Hey, here's the thing, Ken. It's a logical possibility,
okay,
but it defies probability. That is not a probable thing.
And you don't think that well coming from a rock defies probability?
No, I don't.
I don't know how to help you, Jim.
I mean, I'm giving you leeway here by letting you get away with your rhetorical device of like coming from a rock, because that's obviously not what we say. But even in what you mean, yeah, abiogenesis. No, I don't think it. I think that there's probably life all over the universe. I don't think that abiogenesis is an unnatural event.
You don't think that is spontaneous generation with a new name?
It's not spontaneous generation. It took millions of years.
You don't think that that is probable?
No, I don't. Because whenever you have acids floating around and able to really bond with each other and form self-replicating molecules, give them millions and millions of years to do this, take a Poisson distribution and look at the probability, it's probably going to be pretty high.
I was just reading a book about this yesterday, actually, and they're saying it doesn't matter how much time you have, doesn't matter how much chance you have. Chance is irrelevant when nature doesn't do the things that you want it to do.
That would be true if that were, yeah,
exactly. Well,
but
what source do you have that's saying, you let these things float around from these years and they're going to just happen?
Because, that's an oversimplified version of what actually happened. But
I just want to know what convinced you that if you just give these things time, it will happen.
Yeah, I mean, if we let things float around for 20 years, it doesn't happen. We let them float around for 100 years, it doesn't happen. Why does it all of a sudden happen in billions of years?
That's kind of like asking, we never see mountains form. No matter how long we look, in all of human history, we have never seen a mountain form. How do you know that mountains are formed gradually over time?
For the Christian Science, I'm going to have September 13th of 2005, and we're the folks who believe the Bible is literally true and scientifically correct, and the evolution theory is the dumbest and most dangerous religion in the history of humanity. We want to defend that position against all comers. Have Jared on the phone talking about, I've forgotten now, Jared.
Abiogenesis.
He was saying, how do we know mountains? Or what did you say before we got off there?
I was just trying to compare some.
Okay, yeah, good point.
I actually don't really see the connection there. I don't think that's something you can compare it to, life evolving or abiogenesis, mountain formation. Mountain formation is pretty simple. You take a couple plates, push them together.
Oh, it's simple.
Well, it's a lot more simple than what you're trying to, it's a lot more simple than this whole life bringing up. Don't have to worry about solvent, chirality. You don't have to worry about that stuff.
Yeah, you talk about my analogies of a car all the time, Jared. I mean, this one's pretty poor, too.
So this is purely, this is none of an analogy about mechanism. It's an analogy about your argument against abiogenesis. And I'll be the first to admit that the evidence for abiogenesis is pretty weak compared to the evidence for evolutionary theory. It's pretty much an inference that I draw based on everything else I see about evolution. Right? I can't prove that abiogenesis happened. And like Dr. Rainbow told you in that debate with him, considers people to be intellectually of integrity if they believe that God created the first single-celled organism, let it go, and that evolution happened the way that
But he would not believe somebody's intellectually honest if they don't believe any of it.
No.
I know he doesn't. I think he does now, by the way, actually. I've been working with a pastor out there that went to the meeting, and we're going to get him started.
That'll be funny. Anyway, actually, the thing is that also, like with mountain formation, how we see things that we think could lead up to it, we have seen spontaneous coalescence of molecules in acids, nucleotide bases, lipids, things that are on the way to what we think the first rhythm of life.
Well, I think you're grossly oversimplifying and incredibly complex.
Yeah, okay. It's an oversimplification, but it's not like the whole thing is a mystery. We just self-assembling of pretty impressive molecules.
Okay, do you understand the oxygen problem with the reducing atmosphere and oxidation?
Yeah, I read an article.
Many problems.
That's the very beginning problem. Let me just summarize it for the listening audience here. If you have oxygen, you have a problem because any of these amino acids that try to combine to make a chain, which is, by the way, takes hundreds of them to make a simple protein. But any of them that try to combine are going to quickly be oxidized. So Miller and Urey, in their experiments, always excluded oxygen. They said the Earth had a reducing atmosphere. Which, by the way, is not true. There's plenty of quotes on that.
Yeah, that's the thing, Ken, is I recently read an article that was true.
Well,
so I'll have to get the article for you as a reference.
Let me just give you a little history. Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences, back in 1966. I have my quotes in chronological order here. Back in 1966, the Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences, Philip Abelson wrote an article, Chemical Events on the Primitive Earth. Said, what is the evidence for a primitive methane ammonia atmosphere on Earth? The answer is there is no evidence for it, but much against it.
When was this?
This is 1966.
Yes, that was almost 40 years ago.
Well, let me finish here. I'm trying to get it where you can understand it. In 1976, at the Canadian Journal of Earth Sciences, there's an article by Jim Ross and Kimberly, Precambrian atmospheric oxygen. Here's what it says. In general, we find no evidence in sedimentary distribution of carbon, sulfur, uranium, or iron that an oxygen-free atmosphere has existed at any during the geological history recorded in well-preserved sedimentary rocks. 1982, article by Clemmy and Badham, Oxygen in the Precambrian Atmosphere from Geology magazine, volume March of 82, page 141. It is suggested that from the time of the earliest dated rocks at 3.7 billion years ago, Earth had an oxygenic atmosphere. 92. Saxton, P-H-A-X-T-O-N, a PhD in chemistry. Bradley's got a PhD in material science, and Olson, with a PhD in geochemistry, wrote a book called The Mystery of Life's Origin, page 80. It says the only trend in recent literature, is the suggestion of far more oxygen in the early atmosphere than anyone imagined. 2002, Commonwealth Scientific and Industrial Research Organization, article January 9, 2002. The title was, Primordial Air May Have Been Breathable. It says, the Earth may have had an oxygen-rich atmosphere as long ago as 3 billion years, and possibly even earlier, 3 leading geologists claim.
Okay, well, 3 billion years around the time of George's first development. So if it was going that way at 3 billion, well, maybe I was wrong. But anyway, the point that I was making is, first of all, we don't know whether life originated in the ocean or like in volcanic vents or on the surface or where it happened. So even if the atmosphere was all screwed up, that doesn't necessarily mean that abiogenesis.
Well, wait a minute. What I'm hearing here, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but we don't know where life originated. Okay? Would you also entertain the possibility that we don't even know if it evolved?
We don't know if it originated naturally. It's an inference based on materialism. Like I said, it's basically a faith kind of thing.
That's what I'm saying.
One way or the other.
That's why I said it's a religion.
That part, you almost have a case. I don't think you have a case.
Okay.
You almost have a case.
Well, thank you.
With the rest of evolutionary theory, you don't. And I'd like to bring it back to evolutionary theory.
Okay.
That's what you're really against.
Well, the origin of life is a major problem for the evolution. And the origin of going from non-living material to living material.
I wouldn't say it's a major problem. I would say that it's a problem. And I'd say that Harvard obviously acknowledged it's a problem because weren't they the guys that just started spending all this money trying to figure it out, I guess?
Yeah, they devoted $1 million a year, I think, to this.
Yeah, okay. So nobody's denying this is a problem. It's an open problem in simple biology.
It's an open problem inside their little tiny box of how did life evolve. We are way above and beyond that. We're willing to look at the option of even did it evolve.
It doesn't matter, Kent. It doesn't matter. God could have created single cell organisms. Evolution could have happened. You're still against that. So let's keep it on that.
It's not the God of the Bible. That's not how the creation of the Bible says. So,
yeah, I know.
So that's the reason why I think, I'm against it, because I'm against saying that God did that, because I think there's no other God aside from the God of the Bible.
Yeah,
that's not the way the Bible says it. So that's why.
And this is why you two guys are anti-science. Is because you require...
We're anti-evolution here.
No, you're anti-science because you require the Bible to be the authority on scientific issues.
Where the Bible does not say, for instance, I don't know that the Bible speaks a whole lot about, physics. I'm not anti-science. When the Bible says something, then the Bible says it. If the Bible's silent on something, then yeah, you are free to explore that and do it. You're free to explore the things the Bible talks about. Sure. But when the Bible talks about something, that's the authority, if you ask me.
Yeah, and that's an anti-scientific thing.
Wrong. That is not an anti-scientific thing, because that is not saying you cannot believe something unless it's mentioned in the Bible. That's wrong. Now you put words in my mouth.
I'm not putting any words in your mouth. You're using your own mouth.
I happen to love science. Okay, I see nothing scientific about the evolution theory.
Yeah, here's the thing. If radiometric dating corroborated what you say, you would be all over it.
Are you then agreeing that radiometric dating, well, first of all, radiometric dating gives numbers all over the scale. The numbers are selected to fit the pre-existing geologic column.
No, with isochron that is not true.
Well, you need to go to ICR.org where they have...
I have been to ICR.org, and nothing they have ever said has contradicted what I'm saying.
That is an absolute statement there, which I know is false, because Steve Austin has written plenty of articles on
Steve Austin is a crackpot.
He's a crackpot. Yeah. He's a crackpot.
Yeah, I've read quite a bit of what he has said, actually, and what he has said is indirect argumentation against radiometric dating. It's not anything against the method itself.
No, wait. We're talking about isochron dating, okay? You just said they don't even talk about it. And it has anything to do
No, I
with
didn't say that. I said nothing they have said actually contradicts the method of isochron dating. They throw pot shots at radiometric dating indirectly. No creationist has ever shown, to my knowledge, maybe I'm wrong, but to my knowledge, they've never shown how the radiometric decay rate can actually change without just a God did it miracle coming into play.
Okay, well, second, first of all, secular scientists have shown how the decay rate can be changed so that they increase that. And Russell Humphrey,
on the order of magnitude of like 1 million times, because that's what it would take.
Are you changing what you're saying? Because you just said they can't change it, and I'm telling you the secular science have documented changing it, so now you're going to change what you just said, right?
What's the factor, Jonathan?
It doesn't matter if it's a factor of 0.5%. It can be changed is the point. I think.
No, that is very
important. Than that too. I mean, Russell Humphreys has tons of examples of this in his books about starlight and time. He has them about geology, geophysics, and stuff like that. It's all over the place. I mean, for you to say that they cannot do this, that is completely arrogant on your part.
I have never seen anybody demonstrate that radiometric decay rates can be changed
to a
significant degree.
For you to say I've never seen it, and for you to say they've never done it, are two very different things.
Okay, we have all kinds of people write in and say, cut Jared off, he talks too long, we got other people on the program, and I don't want to be rude, but the listening audience is not impressed so far. We want to help, we want to get you converted, and we're going to do it, by the way. But I do have a lot of other folks who want to be on the program here. So summarize real quick, Jared, what was your final point?
The point is that no creationist has ever shown anything that actually, makes a good argument against radiometric dating. They throw out a bunch of minor problems in specific cases, but they don't give anything wrong with the methodology. For isochron dating to be wrong, you would have to give me a reason why these slopes on these isochron graphs would be off by a factor of 1 million. Because you're going from 4.6 billion years to 6,000 years. I mean, you're way, way, way off. And you've never given me reason to think that's plausible without a God did it miracle, which is exactly what Steve Austin, ICR, brings in.
And that's wrong. That's absolutely wrong. You need to, honestly...
Do I need to give you the quote where they say that?
Jared, this is what you need to do. You need to actually read the book. Don't just sit there and feed yourself with evolution propaganda that you read on top boards.
I don't just do that. I'm
actually
implying that.
I've got the book in my bedroom, the rate book in my bedroom, and I just last week looked at where they're talking about accelerated nuclear decay and this type of stuff. And it's not a God did it like you're saying. You're not reading material or you're lying.
I had read a specific case where I think it was Steve Austin, but I think it was something else. So they said that there was a burst of accelerated radioactive decay.
Is that possible that can happen?
That's a God did it miracle.
No. Do sun cycles affect this?
You're not reading the material. I'm trying not to be mean here, Jerry, but you're not reading the material.
Give me a specific thing to read that talks about specific thing.
Jerry, pick up the Rate Project book, and better yet, you can go to the conference here November 5th. Or you can wait for the layman's version or the results of the RAID initiative that came out here in 2005. Actually read the material, though.
Honestly, keep in mind now, getting over the age of the Earth is only the first hurdle of millions of hurdles you're going to have, Jared, to make evolution actually scientific.
Yeah, I already agreed with that.
Okay, you have to have billions of years, number one. Okay, if the Earth is not billions of years old, the argument is absolutely over in the first round. Yep. Okay. If it is billions of years old, that is, I said, only the first of hundreds, if not millions, of hurdles.
No, first is several.
Getting life to evolve. Like, where are the two-cell creatures on the planet? Where is
That's
the evidence?
a fallacious question.
Where are any evidence of any two-cell creatures ever existed?
Who said